folks. Yep, just wanted to bring you a different type of video today because of a project that I'm working on. Um, this is an old VHS player. Had recorded, had the tuner in it, still got all that, but you can't use the tuner, of course. But anyway, I've had this VHS player here for, man, I know I probably got it back in 96, something like that, 97. I can't remember exact year, but it was, a few years before 2000 anyways. But this is a GE model, but because it had a four-head, player in it, that, in a stereo, and this was kind of like top of the line for its time. And I've had it for a long time. I've got old tapes and pictures where I can see this VHS player sitting on top of the TV in the background. So yeah, I know this is the same one I've always had, but the problem you have over time is the heads get dirty on it, and you get a little snowy picture, and it just playbacks not as clear as it should be. And as for this one, it's been setting up for many years, and in my closet, and I haven't had any use for it. And I happened across some old home movies, and I decided, well, I'm going to pull this thing out and check it out, and see how it plays. Well, I had a couple of movies, from on VHS, and I tried both of those movies, and even though they played fine, the picture was snowy, so that tells me, need the heads cleaned on it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be cleaning these heads. And I pulled the top off, and right here is your head, where your heads are. I mean, this whole thing here is not your heads. You got these little notches in here. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a forehead. And, those things will get dirty over time, and they'll get clogged, and they'll need cleaning. And the capstans, where the tapes come around, and the audio, portion of it right here, that's where you get your sound from, and that has to be cleaned also. So that's what we're going to set out to do today. I'm going to show you how I clean this thing, and some do's and don'ts, and I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube where people are reviving the old VHS player and looking at old home movies, and I mean, and I've got some loved ones that are no longer with me no more, and they've all passed on, and it's just going to be, an experience going back in time and looking at these tapes. And I didn't want to play it on here until I knew that the VHS player was fine, because the tapes are old and fragile, and you don't want to put them in something and eat up the tape. That would be horrible with something that's irreplaceable like that. And I only have a few of them, and so I thought I'm gonna figure I'd clean this thing up, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, to start with, I'm gonna go over a few methods of a couple of methods actually of how to clean those heads. And one of them that you see sometimes people talk about is using Q-tips, and this is not really what you want to do. I mean, the Q-tips they have a fibrous end to them, so cotton, and when you cleaning these heads right here, this comes to like a jagged point in there. It's just inside so it doesn't damage the tape, but when you're scrubbing these things with a Q-tip, it will catch those these cotton fibers, and it'll you know, it'll get clogged up in there. He'll ruin the heads real quick. Now, for cleaning like the audio part of it right here, that it's okay, you know, just be careful as you do it. Or, you know, you can even clean along these capstans with the Q-tip. You know, but of course you got to have alcohol on it. And but don't clean the heads with it, because that could damage your heads. The alcohol you should use is try to get the highest concentration you can, at least 90% if possible. This is 91% isopropyl alcohol, and you know, it evaporates quick, it cleans quick, and it's just the perfect thing for cleaning heads like this. And okay, but here's the method I like to use. You take a printer sheet of paper, you know, and you take it, and I got this one cut in two sections and two halves, and you take this and you fold it up into a square, and you put the alcohol on there, and then you take it and you clean your heads with it. Now I'll see if I can do that here and show you what I mean. Okay, so I went ahead and folded up one of these halves of paper, sheets of paper here, and I got it folded up in, you know, squares here, like four folds, and you know, something approximately. Anyways, but you fold it up, and then what you're going to do is you put it on your heads like this after you put alcohol on, and you'll take that and you'll put a little gentle pressure on it. There's one of the heads right there. But anyways, we're going to come up behind this, and you put this on there, and with the other finger you turn the head, and you just keep doing that until you no longer see any dirt on there. This might get kind of dirty, so that's why you got this this fold here, so you can just use another section and then open it up if you need to, and to the inside, and use it. Okay, we're going to add a little alcohol here on camera, because kind of the position I can't show you, but let's see. I'm going to go ahead and add the alcohol and get it nice and wet. Shake off the excess, make sure there's no excess alcohol. You don't want it running down into your board there. And you get it fairly wet, and then you take it and you put it over the head like this, as I showed a minute ago, and you just take it and you turn, and your heads are there in the center of this wheel, so you just keep turning, and that's the main part you'll concentrate on. You know, don't put it on there with so much pressure that you can't have a good turn of the wheel there. But then when you go a couple of rounds, you can see there's a little spot of dirt. Not too bad, expected worse really. But and then you just keep doing that. These things get all gummy, and I mean, as well as dust and all. There was a little, I mean, some of these come with they're self-cleaning, they call it. And all it is a little sponge on you know, it goes up against the head, and it calls it self-cleaning. And more or less just knocks the dust off of it. But over time, like mine a while ago, I just seen one where it just crumbled apart the minute I touched it. And those things are just not really good for a VCR, especially when they have a lot of years on them and they get all dry and brittly at those styrofoam pieces they put on there. We're going to go around again, because this thing was pretty snowy. Make sure it's good and clean. And then we're going to clean it up real nice. There's still a little dirt there, but it's not, like I said, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would be a lot worse than that. But just for safety measures, I'm going to make sure that this thing is good and clean before I put my tape in there. I'm not taking no risks. Rub this alcohol all in here. Shake off the excess. You don't want it soaked, drenched, or anything too bad. Yeah, it's a little wetter than I like, but I think it'll be fine. I'm gonna clean this whole head. I could tell it's getting a lot shinier than it was. I'm gonna do this whole thing here. Go over it a few times, and then there's still a little dirt there. Nothing drastic, but anyways, the I don't think I'm gonna try it on that audio head. I'll probably take a Q-tip and put it on there, but the capstans, try to get them all cleaned up. I think the Q-tip would do better on that too. Yeah, it's dirty. I mean, there's no telling when this thing was last cleaned, especially it's setting up for years and years. Oh yeah, that looks bad. Okay, could look worse though. I'm gonna take this Q-tip and I'm gonna add a little alcohol to it. And knock off the excess. Then I'm going to go over this audio part of it here real good. Look at, yep, it's getting some dirt on there. Get that all cleaned up. Alright, now we got that. I'm going to go with this capstan wheel. This here puts, this is actually the track that the tape runs, you know. If you ever looked in the inside of these things when they're playing a tape, just imagine. I mean, it's amazing what all those, where all that tape goes. I mean, it's just all over the place in here. We're gonna clean this up nice. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's it, a little dirty. Okay, we're gonna dip this in here again on the clean end. And clean up this wheel. I forget all the technical names for these. It's been so long since I've had any dealings with them, but I know how the tape runs across them, so just make sure all these are nice and clean. And this is the eraser, if I remember right, that if you delete something from the tape, this is what does that job. And yeah, this is pretty dirty. The dirty girl. Okay, we're gonna go just mainly do a little surface cleaning there. I took a can of compressed air, and before I started all this, I blew it out with the compressed air just to make sure there's nothing in there. And you want to do that before you do this cleaning process, as you know, you do it before you do the cleaning process, and then you take the compressed air, you're just going to blow the dust that's inside all over the where you've cleaned. So yeah, this in here is not wanting to. Good grief, look at that. I mean, yeah, that's a little dirty. Alright, let me get a clean one. But, you know, you can get the, you can still find the VHS head cleaners on Amazon and eBay and places like that. And but you know, since they don't make them anymore, you know, they could be pretty expensive. And another problem with it is you don't know what condition they're in or how they've been stored, and they could be, you know, all dry and brittly and not much good anymore. So I prefer to do it this way. This is actually a thorough cleaning, more thorough cleaning, and it really does a lot better job than one of those. If you know, you don't have much of a problem with the heads being dirty, VHS head cleaner can clean it up for you. But or you know, if this is intimidating, I mean, you have to be careful with this job here because these things can be pretty fragile. They're so old now, and you know, I've heard of people just cleaned them and had audio problems and things like that. But I mean, they shouldn't have, because I've used this method on mine, you know, in the past, and I never had no problems. And it must be that they used the wrong type of material or cleaner or something, or it was just about ready to go anyways. I don't know if you could even find the heads for these things anymore. Uh, I haven't seen them online. I hadn't really looked for them either, though. Um, yeah, they say you can go to places like Goodwill or thrift shops, and you can still find these in these places. And you know, I would recommend bringing them home and cleaning them real good like this before I ever put a tape in them, unless you got a tape you don't care nothing about. Because another problem with these old tapes are they have a tendency to mildew, and when that happens, you can transfer that mildew onto these heads and these capstans, and that could be a disaster in the waiting. And which it could, you know, I believe it could be cleaned off, but you just, you know, you wouldn't want to take a chance, take that risk if you had old tape that's all mildewed up inside. Um, but I got these small 8mm tapes. You know, they're digital tapes, and sorry about that. I had to pause the video for a minute because somebody decided to call me at the wrong time. But anyways, I got it all taken care of. But anyways, we're gonna finish cleaning up right along in here and try to clean up everything we can, whether it's really part of the process of the videotape track or anything. I mean, it's just making sure. I see a lot of dust in here, but of course this thing's been around a long time, but it's not hurting anything being there. As long as it's not on these, I mean, and on those heads and the audio and the eraser, and yeah, down there on the little dust stains, it's not going to hurt anything. But anyway, I'll show you this little so-called head cleaner that these things come with. Yes, you can see right here, this little plastic deal, there was a round sponge on here. And every once in a while, this thing moves in, you know, and it cleans, so-called cleans the heads, knocks the dust off more or less. But that thing would, it just, I touched it and it just crumbled like dust. It just, you know, it's pretty old. So, I mean, yeah, so if you have something like that, I mean, you might want to just pull that off or try to keep it from coming in contact. It won't contact the heads now. The sponge was a little bigger than where it was put on right here. So, yeah, if it moves back and forth, it comes in contact with your heads. And that might have been the reason why I was getting a snowy picture to start with. But anyways, I hope this is a help, and I got some other videos coming up in the future concerning this VHS player, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and thanks for stopping by, and have yourself a good one. Bye-bye.